Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Kiccho manussa patilābho, kiccaṃ maccāna jīvitaṃ, kiccaṃ saddhamma savanaṃ, kiccho buddhānaṃ uppādo. Kiccho manussa patilābho, birth as a human is a rare thing. Kiccaṃ maccāna jīvitaṃ, living life as a human is also rare. It's a rare thing. Kiccaṃ saddhamma savanaṃ, listening to the real Dhamma, sublime Dhamma itself is rare. Kiccho buddhānaṃ uppādo, birth of the Buddhas is also rare. Friends, this is how the Buddha pointed out 4 rare things in the world. I am glad to be here with you this morning to share the Dhamma with you. Dhamma is the teaching of the Buddha, which is well expounded, which is excellent in the beginning, excellent in the middle, excellent in the end. This Dhamma is to be understood, to be practiced by all wise people. This Dhamma was taught for the wise. Today, for this Dhamma talk, the suggested topic is the uniqueness of the Buddha and his teachings. Friends, let's first understand the uniqueness of the Buddha. Buddha is a unique person. In the human history, for the last 91 years, only 7 persons attained that supreme stage called Buddhahood. Only 7 persons. It's a rare being. Buddha is a rare being. It so happened that the Buddha was born on the full moon day of May, Vesak full moon day. He attained supreme enlightenment on the same day, the full moon day of May. And also he passed away on the same day, the full moon day of May, the Vesak day, though different years. These 3 events of his life took place on the same day. Isn't that itself is a wonder? A marvelous thing? A rare thing? According to the wonderful and marvelous things, the discourse named Wonderful and Marvelous Things, Acharya Abhuta Dhamma Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, the middle length sayings of the Buddha, Buddha very clearly said that he was born mindfully. He lived his life mindfully. According to the Maha Parinibbana Sutta, the last days of the Buddha, it is again clear that Buddha passed away mindfully. That means the Buddha was born mindfully, he lived in this society mindfully, and he passed away mindfully. Such a great being. Such a great being. He was born in this society. He was born as a human, he developed his mind to the human perfection. Therefore, Buddha's birth is a happy thing. He himself said, happy is the birth of the Buddha. Sukho buddhanang uppado. Happy is the birth of the Buddha. Sukho buddhanang uppado. Sukha saddhamma desana. Teaching of the true Dhamma, sublime Dhamma, is happy, is a cause for happy. Sukha saddhamma desana. Sukha sangasa samaggi. Unity of the Sangha itself is a happy thing. Happy is the unity of the Sangha. Sukha sangasa samaggi. Samagganang tapo sukho. The practice of the united Sangha itself is a happy thing. Happy is the unity of the Sangha. So this is how the Buddhas, when the Buddhas are born to this world, it is a happy occasion. It is a happy thing. After the Buddha's birth, as he was a mindful prince, even while he was very young, he was contemplative, he was mindful, he was practicing Dhamma. Once he practiced under a rose apple tree, he practiced mindfulness of breathing and attained the first jhana. He, at the age of 29, as you all know, he renounced his worldly life. He went from his home life into the state of homelessness. King Kusala Gavesi, the people of the day, they went forth seeking what is truth. The difference between other people and the Buddha is this. Buddha went forth not to seek what is truth, but to seek what is Kusala. King Kusala Gavesi. What is wholesome? That is what the Buddha wanted to see. That is what the Buddha wanted to seek. Seeking after what is Kusala, he went forth. Eventually, he went to meet different teachers. He practiced different types of meditation. Finally, one day, he saw 5 dreams before his attainment of enlightenment. He saw 5 dreams. The first one, he was sleeping. That is the dream. He was sleeping on the floor, on earth. The whole earth is his bed. His head was the Himalayan range. Himalaya, the highest mountain in the world, Everest. That was the pillow of the Buddha. His left hand was in the eastern sea. His right hand was in the western sea. His feet in the southern sea. That was the dream. He saw this dream. Later on, the Buddha himself said the meaning of this dream. He dreamt this dream. He then explained, later on he explained the meaning. The meaning is that he will be the Buddha to the whole world, whole universe. That is the meaning of that dream. Secondly, he saw a particular grass which is called Tana in Sinhalese. In India it is called Tiriya. A particular grass came rose up out of his navel. A grass rose up to the sky, touched the sky, all the way to the sky. A grass. Later on he explained the meaning. That was the Noble Eightfold Path that he rediscovered and revealed would be the path for all humans and the deities, devas. That is the meaning. Third one, he saw worms, white worms with black heads. White worms with black heads. They all came to the Buddha and came up to the knees of the Buddha. They strolled up to the knees of the Buddha, the worms. Later on the Buddha explained the meaning of this dream. That was white worms with black heads are the lay people. They come and respect the Buddha. That was the dream. Next one, the fourth one. Buddha saw 4 colors birds. They came from four colors, 4 birds from 4 directions. They came to the Buddha, and when they came and they fell there in front of the Buddha, at the feet of the Buddha, then they all became white. What is this? That is the different class of people, they come from different class and caste. You know, in the time of the Buddha, there were different caste. The people talk about Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. They were different caste in the time of the Buddha. They all came from different castes, different classes, and then they became one group of Sangha, disciples of the Buddha. That was the dream. Finally, he saw the 5th one. As Buddha was climbing a sort of mountain of dung, there nothing soiled in his foot. He was climbing, but not soiled with the dungs, not soiled his feet with the dungs. That was, though the Buddha was given many types of requisites, whatever given to the Buddha as gift, Buddha is unattached, not clinging to these things. Those are the dreams. It's just before the attainment of enlightenment. Buddha dreamt these dreams. Buddha was not a god. He was neither a god nor an emissary, not a messenger. He was not a savior. He was a human being. He was born here in this society. He was born in India. According to the history, Buddhist history, we know very well where he was born. Even today when you go to India, you can see these places. So he was born as a human. He developed his mind and came to the state of human perfection. That is the difference. That is the wonder. That is marvelous thing that he did. That is the marvelous thing he did. So he became our Buddha on the full moon day of May, the Vesak full moon day. So friends, this is how we have to understand the uniqueness of the Buddha. He is a unique person, unique man, he who became a superman eventually. So let's now understand the Dhamma he realized. On the day, during the night, he attained enlightenment, the full moon day of May. When it was evening, the Buddha came from the other side of the river, which is called Neranjara river. He crossed the river and came to this side where he saw a shady tree, which is now known as the Bodhi tree. He sat under the tree and started to practice mindfulness of breathing. That is the meditation practiced by all Buddhas to attain enlightenment. He practiced mindfulness of breathing. While he was practicing mindfulness of breathing, during the first watch of night, he gained a knowledge. That knowledge is to understand his previous lives, how he was living in the previous lives. Many lives, 100,000, millions, trillions, eons of lives, how he lived in the past. He understood that. That is called Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana. That is the ability to recollect, remember his previous lives. During the second watch of the night, he realized he gained another knowledge, which is called Chutupapata Jnana. Chutu Uppatti means he got the ability to understand how beings are born to this world. They come from other realms, other planets, realms, or the world. They come from other worlds and they are born here. Then those who are living here, they depart here and are born somewhere else. That is another knowledge he gained during the second watch of the night. When it was dawn, he got a special knowledge, which is again unique knowledge. That is called complete destruction of all taints. That is the ability to eradicate all taints. In Pali, Asavakkaya Jnana. These three types of knowledge are called Trividya. So he gained Trividya, three types of knowledge. With that, the Buddha realized 37 factors of enlightenment. This is the real Dhamma. He realized. He rediscovered this Dhamma. He realized these 37 factors of enlightenment. What are the 37 factors of enlightenment? He realized the 4 establishments of mindfulness, the 4 right striving, the 4 roads to power, 5 spiritual faculties, 5 mental powers, 7 factors of enlightenment, and the Noble Eightfold Path. These are the 37 factors which he rediscovered, realized, and later on revealed. These are the Dhamma, real Dhamma he realized. Buddha very clearly said this in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. He said, monks, this Dhamma that I realized should be thoroughly learned by you, practiced, developed by you for the benefit of many, for the benefit, happiness for the multitudes. That's how the Buddha put this. Friends, this Dhamma, whole Dhamma, 37 factors of Dhamma, could be condensed into 3 principles, 3 Dhamma, which I see as a triangle. The 3 Dhamma are the 4 noble truths, the dependent origination, and the 3 characteristics of existence. These are again unique. Nowhere else. Unique means nowhere else you can find this Dhamma. Nowhere else you find the 4 noble truths. Nowhere else you find the dependent origination. Nowhere else you find the three characteristics of existence. Therefore, Buddha himself said in the Chula Sihanada Sutra of the Majjhima Nikaya, the middle length sayings, Buddha very clearly said, since there is no path, no Four Noble Truths, no such Dhamma, the first Samana means the stream enterer, second Samana, the once returner, third Samana, the non-returner, and the fourth Samana, the Arahant. Stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, and Arahant. Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. These disciples, these students can be seen only in this sasana, only in the dispensation of the Buddha, because no noble eightfold path in other faith. Therefore, it is again unique. So these three factors, three principles, the Four Noble Truths, the dependent origination, and the three characteristics of existence are the main teachings, are the fundamental teachings. As I see, these three are the triangle. This is how the triangle is formed. These are the things that the Buddha rediscovered, realized, and revealed. With this, the Buddha discards some teachings, some isms. By the time of the Buddha, there were 62 isms. 62 isms, cults. Buddha discarded them all. Buddha put them all into two categories, two aspects: eternalism and nihilism. Buddha could put them all into these two baskets and then discarded them all. That is why in the very first discourse of the Buddha, first thing that he said was, monks, De me bhikkhave anta pabbajitena na sevitabba. Monks, there are two extremes which are to be avoided by you. Why? To follow the middle way. Middle way is not going to extremes. If you go to the extremes, those are extremes. As long as you are in extremes, you cannot see the Dhamma. Therefore, the Buddha's instructions was to come to the middle way, middle path. That is nothing but the noble eightfold path. That is the path for all of us. That is the path for all of us. So in such a way, the Buddha taught this Dhamma. He gave up, abandoned 62 isms and 2 extremes. Once the Buddha delivered a discourse named the Lion, Miga Raja Sutta, King of Beasts. Buddha said, monks, addressing the monks, Buddha said, monks, the Miga Raja, the King of Beasts, the lion, when it is evening, the lion comes out of his lair, his cave. He comes out when it is evening, and he then stretches himself and roars his lion's roar 3 times. When he roars his lion's roar, all beings, Buddha says, all beings that hear this sound, they all get fear, frightened, terror, sense of urgency. Just listening to this sound. By then the Buddha said, those beings living in halls, they all they enter the halls because of fear. And all those beings live in woods, they enter the woods. Beings living in water, they enter the water. because of fear. And the birds, they fly into the sky because of fear. Buddha says, so too monks. With the birth of Tathagata, the Buddha, with the birth of Tathagata, the Buddha, the beings like Devas who live long in different realms, thinking that they are eternal, they are permanent, thinking that they are eternally living there. When the Tathagata teaches the Dhamma based on the three characteristics of existence, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and the soullessness nature, when the Buddha teaches this Dhamma, they become fear, frightened, sense of urgency. Then they start to say, oh sir, we thought that we are permanent, though we are impermanent. We thought that we are eternal, but it is otherwise. We are not eternal. It is because of the teaching of the Buddha. Only Buddhas teach us this type of Dhamma. The marvelous thing, the greatest thing in this sasana, this teaching of the Buddha, is that there is nothing to believe. Friends, this is how the Buddha gave us 100% freedom of thought. 100% given. Isn't that wonder? This is the real teaching. That is why we have to learn this Dhamma. That is why we have to follow this Dhamma. That is why we have to practice this Dhamma. Then we can live happily, peacefully, and one day we can realize this Dhamma here in this very world. We don't want to go anywhere else to realize this Dhamma. We don't want to go anywhere else to realize this Dhamma. It is at your home, in your same room. You can realize this Dhamma. This is the wonder. This is why I say that it is a unique teaching. Unique teaching. Nothing to believe. But we have to do our own exploration. We have to do our own examinations. We can understand this Dhamma. So in such a way the Buddha taught this Dhamma. Once the Buddha, in the time of the Buddha, there were three tenets, three doctrines. Some people believed that everything happens because of previous karma. Because of previous karma. Some people, they believed everything happens because of the Creator, as the Creator created. Third, another group, they thought that everything happens automatically, spontaneously, without any reason. How the people believe. This is how. So the Buddha said, monks, one day I went to meet these people. First the Buddha went to meet the first group, those who say everything happens because of previous karma. Buddha went to meet them and asked questions. Buddha said, I asked questions. I questioned them, interrogated. Whether this, say for instance, Buddha said, I asked them whether this killing, the first steps, people kill beings. Buddha asked them whether this killing happens because of your previous karma. If it is previous karma, you cannot stop it. But some people, they stop it. As they can stop it, it is clear that it is not previous karma. Killing. And stealing, what about stealing? What about sexual misconduct? What about false speech? What about malicious talk? Harsh speech? Frivolous talk? Covetousness? Grief? covetousness, ill will, wrong view, all these, you can stop this. So these are not because of previous lives, previous karma. That's how the Buddha questioned them. Then Buddha said they became silent. Their argument became sort of inactive, inaction. Then the Buddha went to the second group. Buddha questioned them also. As they believed that everything happens because of Creator, Buddha put the same questions. Buddha asked whether this happened because of Creator. You kill these beings, if anybody is killing, is that because of Creator? If anybody is stealing, is that because of Creator? If anybody is practicing sexual misconduct, is that because of Creator? Like that, Buddha questioned them. Then they became silent, quite inactive, inaction. Then the third group, Buddha visited them, asked them whether things happen because no reason, spontaneously. Then they also had to do the same thing. They all became silent. Thereafter, Buddha pointed out, Buddha said, this Dhamma that I teach is different. Buddha said, this Dhamma cannot be repeated, cannot be reproached. This Dhamma that I teach is uncensored by the wise. By the wise, this Dhamma cannot be refuted, refused. What are the Dhamma he taught? He said, in the whole world, everything is composed with six elements. What are the six? Earth element, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. These are the six elements to which all things, animate or inanimate, all things are composed with these six elements. Nobody can refute this. It's true. These are the elements. Six elements. Then the Buddha said, the man, we all have contact, six contact. It is because of these six contact we are exposed to this world. Six type of contact he taught. What are the contacts? Eye contact, six contact. Eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. These are the six contacts. Nobody can refute. How to accept? That is what is true. Nothing to believe. Nothing to cling to. Then Buddha said, there are 18 bases, mental proliferations. 18 places where we are observing, we are doing our own examinations. What are the 18 places? To the eye there are 3. When we have 3 types of feelings. When we see something, we feel. When we feel, there are 3 types of feeling. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and neutral feeling. These are the 3 types of feeling, where we are doing our own explorations, mental explorations, mental proliferations as well. So, through eye there are 3, the ear 3, nose 3, tongue 3, body 3, and mind 3. 3 multiplied 6, 18. 18 places. These are the Dhamma the Buddha taught. Buddha said, these are the Dhamma. And then Buddha said, the special Dhamma, central teaching of the Buddha, What is the central teaching of the Buddha? The Four Noble Truths. Nothing but the Four Noble Truths. When we say about Four Noble Truths, when we talk about Four Noble Truths, sometimes people might think there are four truths in the world. Friends, no four truths in the world. There's only one truth in the world. Should be one. Otherwise, how people can understand? If there are many truths, how people can understand it? No such truth, many truths. Only one truth in the world. What is that truth? That truth should be common to the world, common to all beings, not only humans. That should be common to all beings. What is that truth? That is unsatisfactoriness. Wherever beings, there is unsatisfactoriness. Dukkha. The Buddha used the term dukkha. Dukkha is all over the world. Wherever beings, they have dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. Then the Buddha understood that there is a cause of dukkha. Then there is a cessation of dukkha, for which there is a path to be developed. That is the path leading to the cessation of dukkha. So these are the four facets of dukkha, not four truths, but four facets of truth. That is, friends, that is how we should understand these Four Noble Truths. Four facets of truth. So the Buddha realized these Four Noble Truths, which we call Four Noble Truths. Why they are called noble? Because the noblest one, the Buddha, rediscovered this. Even before this Buddha, there were many Buddhas in the past. They themselves had the same Four Noble Truths. That is why we use the term rediscovered. It's a rediscovery. Buddha realized this, rediscovered this, and revealed this Dhamma. The Four Noble Truths. Once a certain Brahmin named Brahmayu came to see the Buddha. He understood the Buddha's qualities and the characteristics of his body, seen them all. He was so glad, so delighted seeing the Buddha, and then he fell at the feet of the Buddha and respected the Buddha. Thereafter, the Buddha said, referring to him, the Buddha said, Abhinyayang abhinyatang bhave tabbancha bhavitang pahatabbang pahinang me tamahang buddhosmi brahmana. Buddha introduced him as the Buddha. Buddha said, Abhinyayang abhinyatang. What is to be comprehended, I comprehended it. What is to be comprehended? There is something to be comprehended. I comprehended it. Abhinyayang abhinyatang. Bhave tabbancha bhavitang. There is something to be developed, I developed it. Bhave tabbancha bhavitang. Pahatabbang pahinang me. There's something to be abandoned, I abandoned it. Pahatabbang pahinang me. Tamang buddhosmi brahmana. Therefore, Brahmin, I am called Buddha. I am the Buddha, he said. What is to be comprehended? Dukkha is to be comprehended. Unsatisfactoriness is to be comprehended, to be understood. Dukkha is to be understood as dukkha, as it is. Then bhave tabbancha bhavitam. There is something to be developed. What is to be developed? The Noble Eightfold Path is to be developed. So the Buddha said, I developed it. Then what is to be abandoned? Craving is to be abandoned. Craving is the cause for dukkha. It is to be abandoned. So the Buddha did this. Therefore Buddha said, therefore I am the Buddha. Friends, this is how the Buddha taught this wonderful Dhamma. This unparalleled Dhamma. Unparalleled Dhamma. This wonderful Dhamma. In order to realize this Dhamma, the Buddha gave us the technique of meditation. That technique is again unique technique. That is based on samatha vipassana. It is samatha and vipassana both. In order to practice samatha, you know, even before the Buddha, there were many who practiced samatha meditation. But Buddha's samatha samadhi is different. Buddha's samadhi meditation is called noble right concentration. Noble right concentration. It is supported by 7 factors, which is again unique, unparalleled, in parallel. That Dhamma, the concentration with the support of the first 7 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is called noble right concentration. When we develop this particular concentration, we can switch our meditation to insight, which is called vipassana, insight. So in order to practice vipassana, we have to practice this together. Samatha vipassana together, should go together, hand in hand, as tandem. That is the technique taught by the Buddha. That technique is given in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. That is the sutta to be studied and understood this and practiced accordingly, according to the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Every person, every Buddhist should read this sutta and follow that technique of the Buddha as the meditation technique, not many different methods. Many different methods leading to many different destinations. This is why, friends, we have to follow the Buddha. Buddha is our teacher. Buddha has never appointed any teachers, any sort of techniques, only this technique, Satipatthana meditation technique, where we practice samatha vipassana together in tandem. Then we can realize this Dhamma. In order to explain this, the Buddha gave Satipatthana Sutta, where the Buddha pointed out to establish the way to establish sati, mindfulness, which is the uniqueness in this teaching. It's the watchword, key word is mindfulness. It's like the nucleus of the triangle. Sati, mindfulness. So the Buddha taught us to establish mindfulness on 4 different places. What are the 4 places? Establish mindfulness on your body, kaya, kayanupasse viharati. Secondly, said establish mindfulness on your feeling, Vedanasu Vedananupassi Viharati. Third, establish mindfulness on your mind. Chitte Chittanupassi Viharati. Fourth, establish mindfulness on mental objects. Dhammesu Dhammanupassi Viharati. In such a way, Buddha taught us the 4 establishments of mindfulness. Then he taught us how to practice. First, when you practice, you have to maintain 4 factors. What are the 4 factors? You should have effort. First thing is effort to practice. Effort to continue your meditation. Atapi. Secondly, Sampajano, understand it clearly. Understand your object clearly. Sampajano. Third, Satyama, mindfully. Practice mindfully. Given full attention. Be alert. With earnestness, practice with earnestness. Practice diligently. Diligently. Vigilantly. Be in wise practice. Continuously. Persistently. Practice. Practice. Satyama. Vinaya loke abhijja domanasan. Give up both abhijja and domanasa. Abhijja is covetousness. Domanasa is grief. Avoid both and practice equanimously. So, ardently, clearly comprehending, mindfully and equanimously practice your meditation. Continue your meditation. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Then the Buddha taught us to find a suitable place, congenial place, and then observe this breath. Breath is another kaya, another body. We have 2 bodies, this body and the breath body. So the Buddha asked to observe, first observe this body, breath body, then this corporeality. In such a way, 6 methods, 6 different methods, objects were given to observe this body. 6 different sections are there in the sutta. And then the Buddha taught us to understand different nature of this feeling. Thereafter, understand the mind as mind, according to the nature of mind. Finally, we can realize the Dhamma. When we realize this Dhamma, we can understand our own hindrances and completely cut off hindrances. Then we can understand the 5 aggregates, 12 bases. Then we can further develop 7 factors of enlightenment and finally come to the path, and we come to the end of the path, completing the path to 10 factors. The path, not the noble 8-fold path, but noble 10-fold path. The path becomes 10-fold path. With that one attain enlightenment as a supreme enlightenment, as an arahant. This is the path which is very clear. It's a unique path. 10-fold path. Without noble right concentration, nobody can come to the 9th factor of the path. 9th factor of the path is the true knowledge, right knowledge. That is nothing but the knowledge of the 4 noble truths. Without 9th factor, nobody can come to the 10th factor, which is the right liberation. Right liberation. Why right liberation? Because there is wrong liberation as well. So we have to come to right liberation. When we come to right liberation, the liberated one can understand clearly that since then no birth is destroyed. Khina jati. She herself can say that. Khina jati, destroyed future birth. Khina jati. Vusitam brahmacharyang, led the holy life. Katang karaniyan, done what had to be done. Na parang ittathayati, there is nothing to be done any longer. Never come again. This is the expression. With that, he or she becomes a Khina Savat, the Arahant. His or her mind is the liberated mind. When it is liberated, one says it is liberated. Vimuktasming vimuktamiti jnanang hoti. He himself, she herself can realize that it is liberated. What is liberated? Mind is liberated. From what? From all taints. Taint free. Khina Savat. That is the mentality, that is the consciousness, that is the vijnana which is called anidassana vijnana. Why it is called anidassana vijnana? Anidassana means no feature. Featureless consciousness. Featureless means there is no feature like nama, rupa, patavi, apo, tejo, vayo. No earth, water, fire, air. No physicality, no mentality, like that. No such thing. That is why it is called featureless consciousness. Anidassana vijnana. Which is infinite. Anantang. Sabbato pabhang. It is bright, luminous, all over. Such is the mind. That is the mental, that is the consciousness of the Arahant, which has no way, no place to cling to. No place to cling to means no re-becoming, no birth. Birth destroyed. Friends, that is the teaching. That is the way. Those who have such mentality, such consciousness, are still living here. In this society, peacefully, unattached. That is the difference. So this is how the Buddha taught us this wonderful Dhamma, this marvelous Dhamma, this unique Dhamma. Therefore, let's all understand this wonderful Dhamma, unique Dhamma. And let's understand the uniqueness of the Buddha and this Dhamma. And let's learn this Dhamma. Let's practice this Dhamma so that we can live happily, peacefully in this world. And one day we can realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. May we all attain supreme bliss, real bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.